Okay, all right. So let's get back to our topic on the faculty of wisdom, and also the power of wisdom. And last week we were talking about, let's see, where were we talking about? We were talking about the different types of wisdom, and there are different ways of how we can look at wisdom. I mean, so many ways. But the thing is that what we are more interested here is that to look at wisdom, how we can able to put it into practice and to apply the suitable type of wisdom when the situation is right. When the situation is not right, we have to move to another type of wisdom. So that is also is important for us to take note. Now, so so this wisdom again, they are balanced in a way with faith, with saddha, with saddha. So the way that we talk about saddha on the last few talks ago, when I said that when the faculty of saddha, this faculty of faith, when they go into so-called imbalance, inverted comma of the imbalance, they are not to say that they are wrong type of faith. It's just unsuitable. It is still wholesome. It's still wholesome, but it's unsuitable for the occasion. Then I give a number of examples that, for example, while you are meditating, things are going quite well. Things are going clear and so on. And then it comes with a certain urge that you want to have the gratitude to your teachers, or you want to have gratitude to the Buddha, and then you come out from the meditation and then you start doing chanting, this type of things. Then here you are already getting out of that what is supposed to be a suitable type of faith, but it comes with the practice, and the mind is clear and the mind is sharp, can notice what is going on. But you pull it one stage lower in the sense that you put it into the more of a serene type of faith, and with that you start to do your chanting, start to do your dana, start to do every other thing except meditation. So it's kind of like a change. You change it unknowingly. So these things happen, as I said, for those who have a lot of faith, especially their faith is overwhelming, or their inclination towards faith. And most of the people are inclined towards faith. So this one you got to be careful. Now, on the other hand, when it comes to the faculty of wisdom, they also act in the same way. Whether you're having a suitable type of wisdom and also the unsuitable type of wisdom. Again, both of them are wholesome, but which is the appropriate type of wisdom at the right time? So that we need to look into it further, although most of us has listened to this type of, what is being heard, what is being cognized, and what is being direct experience. Yes, you heard that a lot of times, perhaps from other talks, and you read from it also. But when it comes to the faculty, this is what happened when you start to jump around with a different type of wisdom. And that's why the progress don't go far. Let us look into it a little bit more. Now let us look into this wisdom faculty. Okay. All right. Can y'all see right now? Okay. Okay. This is what I've mentioned, what you learned, what you reasoned, and what it directs saying. Sutta Maya Panya, Cinta Maya Panya, and Bhavana Maya Panya. So I go a little bit more, this one. Okay, this one I want to make sure they all see, because this one, to me, it is important for you all to know where to this one. All right. Now, just a briefly we go through this. What is learned and what is heard here is it's connected to the reality. Connected to reality. That means you learn about something that is connected to reality, whether there's a Buddha or not. You talk about the karma aspect, for example. You learn about anicca, dukkha, anatta. You learn about dependent origination. You learn about 5 precepts. You learn about 4 noble truths. You learn about 37 factors of enlightenment. You learn about past Buddhas and so on, things like that. So this is what you learn, and this goes according to reality. Not something connected to the world in the sense that what you learn in the chemistry or biology and so on. Although those are very useful things, but they don't fall under the wisdom. Because here the wisdom is to help you or to support you for you to get out of this cycle of birth and rebirth, not to hold you back here in samsara. The second one is the reason or thinking or conjecturing. This comes under Cinta Maya Panya. So this one, after you have learned, you think about them, you ponder over them, you thrash it out mentally. You categorize them, you connect them. This is connected to that, and so on. Then by all the reason, by that thinking, then it comes a bit more deeper. And again, this reason thinking must be connected to what is real. What is real? Although you may not able to see it yet, but it is in the sense of their reality. So the first one, the second one, there also can be problematic in a sense that can be connected with the asavas, with the taints. That means it can be, if you're not careful, then the taints of sensual desire or clinging, things like that may come in. Sometimes even the reasoning, they think about the Dhamma and so on. Then after that, they think of it as there must be a self, there must be no self. There must be something permanent, something impermanent. So they reason it out after learning about the Buddhism. So it can be problematic also. Now the third one is the direct seeing. The direct seeing, that means you have to have first-hand observation, first-hand seeing, and mental development here, bhavana maya panya. Here it goes into the 2 parts, samatha and vipassana. Now in the samatha, all right, that's number 1 and number 2. Preliminary or excess development, parikama or upachara bhavana, or absorption development. Here is appana bhavana. In the vipassana, although I put it insight and enlightenment, but actually you can put it as preliminary and also absorption also, because enlightenment, the process of enlightenment is an absorption process, is an appana too, and while you're having this insight, the beginning of insight, and also somewhere in the middle before you can enlighten, this is also like preliminary and also access. Although in the development of insight, we call it momentary concentration and so on. So just to make things differentiate out from samatha and vipassana, I put this vipassana in insight, knowledge, and enlightenment. And this one is easier for most of us to able to understand, because this is where we need to know how to balance the faculty of this wisdom. All right. Now, just now I mentioned that there are unsuitable type of wisdom, or suitable type of wisdom. When I say unsuitable, does not mean that it is unwholesome. It's just not suitable for that time. So here, the imbalance of the faculty of wisdom. Wait, let me shift this thing. Okay, the imbalance of the faculty of wisdom. Application of unsuitable wisdom. Number two, non-application of suitable wisdom. It looks like the same, but actually it's not. It sounds the same. It's just opposite of, but it sounds the same, but it's actually not the same. Let me open it up more for you all to understand. The third one is over pushing of the suitable wisdom. All right, let us go to number one. Once you understand number one, then you understand a little bit on 2 and 3 already. It gets clearer. Now, the application of unsuitable wisdom is just like the one that I talk about on Saddha, that you go one step lower. Now here, let's say you are practicing vipassana. You are practicing vipassana. And then while you are noting your object clearly, and this time you can see things quite clearly. That you can able to notice a rising, falling, sitting, touching, or thinking, hearing. Those things you can able to notice at the preliminary or somewhat middle part of the development of vipassana. Then, because of you have a lot of book knowledge, and there are a lot of book knowledge, and you love to reason and you love to think. Then after that, for example, a simple example is that you pull the mind one step down to start to think about, hey, whether my rising falling is a wind element or is it an earth element, or is it this element or that element? What element am I looking at this moment of time? You see, the whole behind it, you want to satisfy, or you crave actually for that intellectual knowledge or that reason type of thinking before you really want to pay attention to your object. So the yogi, that type of yogi, will become to and fro. Note it a little bit, one step back, thinking about it. Not a little bit, one step back, want to think about it. I put it in such a simple example. It is a very simple example that all of us actually are doing it, more or less only. It depends on how strong your craving is behind it. Some people don't realize that their craving is so strong that they have to go back to their reason thinking, the pondering, the reflecting before they do the meditation, the proper type of meditation. So this is one way. Now you may think that, ayo, I study so much, how like that is going to affect my meditation. No, it's not that at all. It's not that I don't ask you to go. I mean, I'm stopping you from go and read the Abhidhamma or read the Sutta or everything, or listen to the talk. Just make your mind blank and go meditate. If you do like that too, you also wouldn't able to meditate. Because for the direct seeing or mental development to arise, it needs to be supported from with number 1 and number 2. And number 3 only can come. You think you sekali go meditate without learning, without thinking, or you think you can meditate? No, you cannot. You're going to go crazy. You're going to go out. You go to Chao Fo Yat Mo, all those things. Then that one you will get. So you need to have 1, 2, then you only can have 3. It's how much 1 and 2 you need to do, but 3, most people do a little bit only. 3 is the most difficult to do, but you still need 1 and 2. Crossing to 3 takes a lot of courage. Takes a lot of courage. Between samatha and vipassana, you come to vipassana even more, you need even more courage to go into vipassana. So you need number 1, you need number 2, and you need number 3. But the problem is, while we are meditating, we like to go back to number 2. We like to go back to thinking. We like to go back to reasoning. And that is terrible. That is, not to say terrible, that is slowing down your progress. Slowing down, really slows down the whole progress. Now, another type of example that once in a while I encounter, like for example, you learn about the insight knowledge. Number 1, what is knowledge of, what is the first knowledge? Then, first knowledge is Nama Rupa Parichedanyana, the analytical knowledge of mind and matter. Wow. Then after that, the second knowledge of condition. Then after that, third one, fourth one, fifth one, sixth one, seventh. You remember it like you remember your, don't know what you remember nowadays. Those days, people, in my grandmother, they can remember all the numbers, and the number is connected to what? When you buy the 4-digit number, in Malaysia, we have this normal echo, 4 numbers. So these 4 numbers, the 3 numbers, if you can able to remember, they're always connected to something. Let's say at night, you sleep, and you remember, and you dream about, let's say, a dog. Well, you remember, then you wake up, then you recall that you dream about the dog. Yeah? Then dog has a certain number. Then you try to remember how many dogs did you dream. Then if you got 4 dogs and you put the number 4 in the front, then you put the numbers to this, and then you try to buy 50 big, 50 small. See whether you get that. Those days people remember all these things. Nowadays people don't remember much because everything we subcontract our memory to our phone. Subcontract in the sense that those days we remember people's number. Before this mobile phone, when we have phones, we remember whose phone, and we can sort of like at that we can be able to recall. Nowadays we cannot. Nowadays, whoever phone we have to go into our contacts and look for it. But the thing is that, where am I? Insight knowledge. So these people, they remember the insight knowledge very well. Because they want to get enlightened. Of course, we understand that. It's not, but the thing is that now, while they are meditating, is that they want to compare. They want to compare right at the meditation itself. While they are noticing some objects of their meditation, when some object of the meditation rising, falling, or changing this way, they like to put the insight knowledge, compare it to what are they noticing at this moment. So when they are doing it in this way, then again it slows down their progress. Then sometimes they may say, "Hey Bante, if I don't think of that, how do I know where am I right now?" You try to reason it out, You try to reason out to know, at least to know where you are and got how much more to go, you know. You thought that, oh, now I got, let me see, I got 1, 2, 3 inside, 4 inside already. Oh, then I got 16 inside. Let me see if I fall in. Oh, I got 11 more inside to go, you know. Then after that, they start to project themselves into the future, into like, okay, maybe one retreat, I can get 2 inside now. Next retreat, maybe I'll try to hit another 2 or 3 more inside. So by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 5 retreat I think 搞了，一大班了。There are people like that, you know. There are people like that. Not many, but there are people like that. Yeah. There are people who Bante, can I have 1 hour with you or not? Oh, well, here the 1 hour, I already scared first. My heart beat pop, not them, you know. Because this type of people have a lot of thinking. They try to corner me everywhere. But I know their trick. I know their trick. This type of people, once they put me aside, Bante, they calculate with me how many retreats they want to go, how many insight they want to practice, how many per year, how many months they want to go for a retreat. At least that one is good, you know, how many months you want to go to retreat and so on, you know. But you cannot calculate how far you can go now, how much you can go, because again, sometimes in the development of this meditation, it's very strange. You may develop quite fast somewhere in the beginning, but somewhere in the middle, you kind of like keep on repeating again and again and again and again and again. It's not that you are not going far, or you may think that you are stuck. Just like we talked about it in like Friday, the Q&A session, the last question. And you may think that you are stuck on it because it's keep on repeating the same thing again and again and again. To me, that repetition is a progress. It's just that yogis doesn't have the patience to wait for it. Of course we understand you know, you want to progress far, and we can understand, you know. But sometimes in the meditation retreat, the development at certain part, it gets into repetition mode for a long period of time. One of the why you get into repetition mode is because of your certain wrong perception that you may hold on for a long period of time, and you may not realize it. We are not talking about just this life, we are talking about your samsara past, your past samsara until at this moment of time. And here, while you are doing the vipassana, that vipassana knowledge is trying to change that perception internally, to counteract that perception without you even realizing it. That's why it has to be repeated again and again until you can able to sort of break that wrong perception. I mean, invertedly, I know I put it in this way. Say, for example, give you a simple example. Dukkha. That dukkha aspect, because of your past samsara, you love all the pleasures and you love beautiful things and you love all kinds of nice and wonderful. You like to hear nice things, smell nice, everything nice, wear nice. At home, nowhere to go, but you still put on your makeup, you know, things like that, you know, because so the thing is that, you see, the thing is that because of that strong perception that you have, and the perception about beauty, about pleasantness, then when you come into vipassana, when you hit the part on dukkha, then your mind is like reluctant to see dukkha. So that because the mind is always inclined to something something beautiful, something nice, then whenever time you see dukkha, it keeps on rejecting it, rejecting it, rejecting it, rejecting it, rejecting it. You see a little bit, you don't want to reject it. See a little bit, don't want to reject it. And it gets very long, the whole process. So I'm giving you just one example. It could be anicca, it could be another one, anatta. Another one is even more deeper. Things like this. So sometimes it gets into us. So if you, in a past life, if you have done a lot of meditation before, if you've done a lot of meditation before and you have progressed in somewhat, and here when you come into this life, then things may just continue for you. Or you may have the fundamentals or the foundation that are very strong, that you can be able to develop things much more faster. So this is something like that. Sometimes it is not that you are stuck. It is sometimes that it is the repetition has to be long. It's just like when you go into a class, like as I said 1 or 2 talks ago, that those that are intelligent can skip classes. So if you're not so good, therefore you have to repeat the class again and again and again and again and again and again and again. And each and every one of us are very different. There's no one yogi is the same. Some yogis stuck here, some yogis stuck there. Some yogis in the beginning part, they are so slow. Teach them again and again and again, they are very slow. But then after that, once they pick up the technique or they pick up this one, then their progress is quite fast. But then there are yogis also, again, their beginning is quite fast. They develop, but it comes into almost enlightenment. They get repeated again and again and again, cannot cross through. Why? I really do not know. My job is to teach you, make sure that you don't go out of the vipassana, you don't go into wrong technique, or you go into wrong things, or a wrong way of doing things. But I cannot push you I cannot like make things faster for you. You have to do it on your own, those things. So here, as I said, those people is like the repetition part. It's not that you get stuck. It's just that you have to do it longer, and therefore you have to be patient. How long is your patience? That I really do not know. That's the sad part of it. If the Buddha, maybe the Buddha could see you, But for disciples of the Buddha, it's impossible. So as I said, these people, they have a lot of this knowledge or abhidhamma knowledge and so on. They like to go into this type of mentally analyzing, intellectually analyzing, conjecturing, sometimes they're reasoning it out, how this and that. And sometimes there are yogis also who knows a lot of abhidhamma. Take for example, they begin to able to know the consciousness, how the consciousness arises, passes away, and it's quite a deep aspect of the meditation really, But then they sway the whole meditation slightly out, in the sense that they want to begin to see the 16 consciousness, of 16, 17 consciousness of a thought process or a sense process, a mental process connected with our sensual desire. So they want to see those sort of processes that is happening. They want to calculate each and every consciousness that's going through. Then this one, you already go out of the whole vipassana practice already. And it looks the same. It looks like, I'm still noting the consciousness. Why can't I just go and count it, whether the one that I look into the thought mana and the abhidhamma, are they the same? Oh, so you thought that you want to do that. That is again, and you're going to slow down your whole process, because you want to see what you want to see, what you desire to see, not what they are supposed to see things as they really are. But you rationalize that the 16 or 17 consciousness that's passing through, that is what is really to you, you know. But you don't realize that it's the craving that is behind it to direct you to see those things. So vipassana is to make sure that these things, you put it aside first. This abhidhamma and all your thinking, you put it aside first, and you see what is directly in front of you. To see what is happening in front of you. And whether it is connected to insight or not, don't worry about it. As long as you pay attention to it, then it's perfectly all right. Then again, there are some people, if I do not know which insight, then how going to, as I said earlier on, how am I going to know which level I'm in? Then here again, you got to trust the mindfulness. You got to trust the noting mind to work its wonders for you. Because this third direct seeing is you have not come across it yet. Not to say you cannot come across, because as you go develop further and further, new things are going to happen. Of course, you have not encountered those things, you know. Not like reasoning, not like thinking, whatever. So you got to trust that noting mind to open up the whole path for you. And the whole Noble Eightfold Path is at this direct seeing, not at the learn, not at the reasoning there. So, but the thing is that, as I said, many of us are very attached to the thinking, to the reasoning, to the book knowledge, and so on. So this one you've got to be careful. Now, another type of yogi, this one also I encounter also. Regarding anicca, dukkha, and anatta, and we talk about those anicca, dukkha, anatta a lot. So when it comes into meditation, then just like insight knowledge, they notice this rising, falling this way, or in-breath, out-breath this way, or they notice sensation arising, passing away, or the mind, the mental states arising, passing away, again and again and again, this way, that way. Oh, the greed arises, the greed passes away. Now, after that, the mind becomes clear, the mind disappears, sleepiness comes in. Oh, I see this arising, passing away. You know, they thought now, you know. Then they reason out, they conjecture, or they ponder it. Hey, this must be anatta. So this must be anicca right now. What I'm seeing right now must be anicca right now. It cannot be otherwise. Because he reasoned out that when he look at this thing, object, if the rising, falling move this way, the consciousness, the arising, passing away, move that way, the in-breath, out-breath, it was this way and that way. No, that must be anicca. Yeah? Then you feel happy about it, you know. They feel happy about it. Whole say what anicca. All the, you know, the things the teachers talk about anicca. Now I see anicca already. That's how they thought that they see anicca, you know. And they thought that they see anicca. They thought that they see anicca. You know. Then I told them, I told this type of yogis, I said, hey, that thinking of anicca, you got to put those thinking aside. You got to put those thinking about anicca aside. All you need to do is just note what is happening on it. Then that yogi, I remember, not very happy with me. Because I stopped his thinking. Then he said that, if I don't think about anicca, how do I know that what I'm seeing is anicca? The mind has to know that it is anicca. Then we only can get out of this, can only understand. Sometimes if you are not a meditator, or you even you're a meditator, hey, logic ma, if what I see do not know this is anicca, how do I am going to know that this is anicca? if I don't see it as anatta, or let's say how am I going to know it as this is anatta? Then how am I going to relate to what have I learned before? No, it sounds logical. It sounds logical. If I'm not a meditator, then I will say, yeah, yeah. You go and do like that. Very good, wonderful. If I'm not a meditator, or if I don't meditate deep enough yet, but the thing is that I have to stop the yogi from doing it. That you too, next time when you come into arising, passing away, changing, you've got to trust again your noting mind, and you put aside whether this is anicca, or whether you're noting at dukkha, or whether you're noting at anatta. While you are meditating, now, if you get out of the meditation, you get out of meditation later on, after you sat for 1 hour, 1.5 hours, and then you get out of that meditation, and then after a while, you recollect the experience that you have. Now when you recollect, that time you may reason it out, or you may as a conjecturing that this is anicca. Then, okay, not too bad, because you're exercising wisdom at a suitable time. The reasoning type of wisdom at a suitable time. So while you're meditating, the second type of wisdom, the reason people think this is the unsuitable type of wisdom. While you are meditating, while you are sitting down there, you only have to just to observe what is really going on. So as I said, that if the faculty is correct, if the faculty in the balance, that means the wisdom, the third type of wisdom is during when you are meditating. Don't go too much into the second one. When you are not meditating, then you can go back to the second one. This is what we call suitable or unsuitable type of wisdom. So therefore, just to sum it up a little bit now, so make sure that while you are meditating, don't think too much. Just trust your noting mind to open up the truth for you. The truth is not in the thinking, not what you reason out. The truth is to see directly as they really are, not to think what you think it's supposed to be. You get what I mean? This is a very thin line for a lot of people. Sometimes it's very easy for you just to shift over into the thinking part. The third one is difficult for you to stay until you have that skills to really stay with the noting of that object, or seeing or discerning the object as they really are, not as what you think it's supposed to be. That is something that you have to remember. But even right now, I tell you, in the coming sittings or walking or retreats, you will still fall into it. But at least you know to come out of it. That is most important, because as I said earlier on, every one of us will do it. It's just a matter of whether you stay there for too long or you reason out for too long, and your progress becomes slowed down, or you reason it out a little bit, you know that, hey, just put it aside, come back to the noting, then your progress go further. Another thing also, that when you start to reason things out here, number 2 here, if you reason it for too long while you're meditating, that is also when your mindfulness will start to dwindle already. Your continuity of that mindfulness starts going to dwindle if you stay there for too long. until you start to thinking, planning, and thinking about whether this anicca, whether it's dukkha, whether it's this insight, that insight, whether then when you do that, it's crossing over into slowly into restlessness, and that is where your continuity of your mindfulness is going to get affected. When after that, when you realize it, when you want to come back into noting again, that is where again meditation is all blurry already. Yeah. So don't go into that too much. Yeah? Just be careful. I mentioned over here is that, as I said again, everybody will fall into its trap. Just that, don't fall into it too long. Know it a little bit, come out of it. Yeah? Another something also I start to remember here. The labeling process also, when we label an object. For example, when you do the in-breath, out-breath, you do it in, out, in, out, in, out. Or you do rising, falling, rising, falling, rising, falling. Some people like to use the word Buddho, you know. Here, it depends on what meditation you do. Now, if you are doing anapanasati, and you use the word Buddho. You use the word Buddho. This one also you got to be careful. Are you doing recollection of the Buddha, or are you doing anapanasati? Those two things cannot mix on, you know. Yeah. So, but then there are teachers who use the anapana and the Buddha together. Now here this is where the wisdom also come in, you know. If you're doing anapanasati and you label it as Buddha, okay, that labeling of Buddha is to help you to direct your attention to the in-breath, out-breath. And the main object is the in-breath, out-breath, not the qualities of the Buddha. You know. So the Buddha here is just a labeling only. Okay? The Buddha is just a labeling if your main intention is to do the in-breath, out-breath. So here, you have to note the in-breath, out-breath. You have to watch the in-breath, out-breath, although you use the word Buddha. Some people use the word in, out, out. It's just a labeling. If you are doing Buddha as a recollection of the Buddha, then you have to recollect the qualities of the Buddha. You use the word Buddha, even you use it in this one, but actually you're more inside your mind, you know, thinking about the qualities of the Buddha. And then you go into the recollection of the qualities of the Buddha, not into the anapanasati. Yeah. So this is also, you have to take note. And also, for example, those people who are doing vipassana, also the same thing. Some yogis, they are very particular about how they label. You know. Sometimes the rising, falling is going this way. They felt that the word rising, falling is not so suitable anymore. They think about the words first. Maybe going this way. Maybe I shouldn't label it as rising, falling. I should label it as is going. Must have proper language and proper vocabulary for it, you know. Then they start thinking about the vocabulary, you know, in order to just to pay attention to the object. So again here, you are thinking more than you are paying attention to your object. So that one also you have to take note, especially in the beginning part. You know. Now sometimes this labeling, not to say all the time they are not helpful. Sometimes they can be quite helpful, you know. For example, if you use the correct labeling, sometimes it helps you to increase the mindfulness better, or to reduce the defilements better. You know? Now, take for example, you're not a restless mind. You're not a restless. A lot of thinking coming in right now. Yeah? Then you're just not thinking. It's not very effective. You know? The thinking doesn't have power anymore. Yeah? Then you change it. Hey, maybe I should use the word restless, 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 restless. Then it work. Why it work? Because it work because of you connect restlessness as a defilement. Okay, you connect restlessness as a, you're not thinking is very mediocre, or every time you use it, every day also thinking, but this time you use the word restlessness, and that restlessness, because right in your heart you know it as this is something defilement, and quickly your mind kind of like detached or non-attached to the whole thinking process. And that is where, when the non-attachment take place, you begin to notice it. Then slowly that particular hindrance starts to fall away. Somebody used that. There are people do that too. They say it's quite effective. Yes, it is true in a certain sense. And then also, for example, when you're doing your walking meditation, right, and you just right step, left step, right step, left step, right step, left step, all the same. After you walk, you get so bored with the right step, left step. Again, here you change the labeling, in the sense that you put it as maybe like walking, then stepping, walking, stepping, walking, stepping, walking, stepping. Just change the word around, the whole mind gets awakened. Or sometimes you get awakened from that boredom. So sometimes the concept itself, the thinking itself, can be helpful once in a while, but not all the time. Most of the time, when things are going well, don't go and disturb it, especially when you go into a deeper aspect of meditation, where when you have to drop even your concept, your thinking, the labeling aspect, everything, you are going to put it all aside. If you don't put it all aside, that labeling, which is a form of a thinking, it will cover up your observation of things as they really are, or the true nature of them they really are. So you see, it's so easy for us to drop into the number two, because our craving for it are very strong. Now, even when you come after enlightenment, does not mean that you forget about the faculty. The faculty also still can go into a lot of imbalance, in the sense that there are many other forms of imbalance coming in. Now, let us take a look at number 2 and number 3. Non-application of a suitable wisdom. Non-application here means that I think last week also I talked about it. That means while you are doing rising, falling, that means you are not exercising the third wisdom. We are talking about here, we are talking about during the meditation process, because as a faculty partner, as a faculty of wisdom, is not the thinking wisdom, is not the learning wisdom, is the direct seeing type of wisdom. So non-application means that while you're meditating, you're not exercising it, or you do not know how to exercise it, because a lot of time people don't tell you how to exercise it. The suitable wisdom here means that you have to pay attention to it sharply, precisely, thoroughly, seeing the rising, falling, seeing the in-breath, out-breath, how it moves, whether it's long, whether it's short, whether one is longer, shorter, whether it's warm or cold, whether it's moved sideways, whether it's turning, whether it's going into steps, whether it's arising, passing away, how the mind is like, whether they arise, they pass away, different types of mind arising, hearing, seeing, smelling, and all those things. Application of a suitable wisdom. So a lot of times yogis don't apply the suitable wisdom. They meditate right now, especially with a lot of all this mindfulness technique coming in, whether it's the worldly technique or meditation technique. A lot of this mindfulness psychotherapy is connected to mindfulness and so on. Those does not come with that wisdom. It comes with mindfulness, it comes with some concentration, it comes with effort, it comes with faith, it comes with clarity of the mind. Yes, there's some clarity of the mind, yes. But it does not come with wisdom. If you have to come with wisdom, then it falls under samatha or vipassana already. So nowadays, this type of meditation become very popular, and sometimes it seep into, it kind of like quietly flows into the Buddhist meditation also. And sometimes even I hear speakers begin to share meditation is like, nowadays, okay, you sit down, just be aware of your breath, in breath, just out breath, in breath, out breath, rising, falling, be aware of your head, be aware of your arms, be aware of your neck, be aware of your buttocks, be aware of your here and there, Just be present, be aware. If you hear the birds pass through, just acknowledging, just hearing, there's a bird passing through. You are present, not to say that you are not present, and you can have some degree of continuity of mindfulness too, with that. But the thing is that it does not have the precision. You are not applying the sharp wisdom, the third aspect of wisdom. The third aspect of wisdom, you are not applying it. So nowadays, when you are not applying it, when you are not applying the third type of wisdom, your meditation is going to be very pleasant and very nice. And a lot of people like it. The moment you apply that wisdom, apply that precision of that noting, you will start looking, the pain will become obvious to you. Heart, and usually in the beginning part is the buttock pain, neck pain, here pain, there pain, everywhere pain. The moment you see the pain, and if you don't have that faith, and you don't have the proper learning and understanding, again, you shift out. You shift the mind out from noticing the changes in the pain, and you go back to calm, pleasant, peaceful, nice. And sometimes even you do the mind also. Just doesn't mean that you notice the mind. You apply the suitable type of wisdom, not necessarily that yet. So, for example, if you are angry, you acknowledge that you are angry, which is good. Not to say that it's not good. You acknowledge they are angry. You know they are angry at this moment of time. I'm angry right now. I'm angry right now. And usually, when we want to reduce that anger, we go back to reason out. Hey, I shouldn't do this. I know it's no point for me to get angry. It's good, not to say it's bad. If for that situation, maybe it's good for you. It's suitable to you. But when you are meditating, when you want to see anger, it's not just knowing of anger. You've got to see how the anger is arising, how it's burning you, how does it change, how does it get more, how does it get less, how it change into different ways, and how the anger slowly disappear. And then, in that way, you apply the wisdom factor. If you go to a shopping mall, you look at all the beautiful things, and then you say, oh, I got a lot of greed right now. And this one I acknowledge, I got a lot of greed right now. Yes, you are mindful, you are aware of yourself, which is wonderful, it's good, but the application of wisdom is not there. Application of wisdom is not there. But a lot of time people thought that just by aware of this type of greed, some anger that arises, and then that's about meditation there is already. And this is happening in the world of Buddhism and the world out there. So this wisdom is not easy for us to grow or to develop. You need the Buddha's wisdom, the Buddha's understanding for us to help us to grow in this type of wisdom. So, and also for the number two, non-application of wisdom is this. You see, as I said that the 2 or 3 talks ago, I mentioned that wisdom is the foremost of everything. When the wisdom arises, everything gets strengthened. For example, when you have, if you're a meditator, vipassana meditator especially, when you begin to notice things very clearly, somehow or another, you notice when things are going well, your thoughts are very little, you're not easily distracted, you as if like the mindfulness is continuous quite well. But when you are not paying attention to it carefully, you're just merely paying attention to it. Only if you are just merely paying attention to it, you find that after that, sleepiness comes in, thinking comes in, after they get bored. That is what happened to a lot of yogis. But when they realize that they are paying attention a bit more sharper, more careful, then they find that there's not much of thinking. The energy is good, the mind is clear, things are progressing, and they're happy. But they work for it now, for that part. So here, when there is wisdom coming in, it strengthens the mindfulness, it strengthens the concentration, strengthens the effort, strengthens the faith. It strengthens those things. So that's why when the wisdom is there, really you see that when the mind is sharp, you see that the continuity of the mindfulness is wonderful. Normally we say that, in general speaking, normally it says that you make sure you have a continuity of mindfulness, you be continuous mindfulness, continuous. Behind it, there is a wisdom involved. To be sharp, to be clear. Then things get far. Third one, over pushing of the suitable wisdom. Here, number 3, this is your things are going well already. You have a continuity of mindfulness. You have things are going well, going clear. You can able to notice things very clearly. But you are impatient to get enlightened. Behu, you want to get enlightened. This third one is different from the person, the first one. The first one, application of answer, they begin to think about it. They begin to think about it when they're going to get enlightened. But the third one, things are going smoothly, quite well already. But they know that they are not enlightened yet. They push everything as okay, keep one more thing. But they come on, everything still gets stuck. Come on, pushing. Then after that, paucha, not exploded, no. What will happen over here is that when they overpush their practice, when things are clear, they overpush it. They thought that when they push it further, and progress will get better. Take for example, sometimes you may come to an end of your retreat already. Maybe 2 or 3 days more. And then you reflect back, to get a retreat now so difficult. I've got to wait for holiday, my boss to approve and everything. So last 2 or 3 days, you want to really push already because maybe who knows, get enlightened, who knows. So you keep on pushing at this moment of time and you push. And then after that, a day of over pushing, then the next day you come back with a lot of headache. How come I'm so stressful right now? The whole mind cannot work and the tension and the body tension, everything is so much. Go flat. You kind of like burn out, You totally burn out. You wake up also cannot wake up. Bante, sorry, today I got to take MC from you. Cannot meditate. Why? Yesterday over push, I think. Over push, that's the problem. When you over push, it is not the wisdom as being over push. It's because of The effort the behind that, the effort is become too much. Some people over push, then the whole mind becomes quiet. Some people, when they over push, the whole mind going into a lot of tension, a lot of thinking and so on. So this is where they begin to over push the whole meditation. And here it's a lot to do with impatience. A lot of to do with impatience. So what you should do at number 3 here, at number 3 here, when things are going well, let's say for example, let's say if you're doing walking meditation at that moment, you are doing quite well. Don't quickly you want to go into sitting, Wait first, wait. Finish that hour first. Then sometimes when that walking towards the end, you find that the mind is getting sharp, the mind is getting clear, the mind can notice things as they really are. Then just be patient, stay for a while. Stay for a while until the time's up, or until you really feel that it is enough for you to go to sitting, then only you go. Don't kanchong. This is actually trial and error. You have to trial and error until you know that you have to be patient. When is the right time for you to go? Then you will realize that if you have that patience just for a short while, then you find that there's a transition from the walking experience to the sitting experience very clearly, very wonderfully. As if like what you stop from your walking meditation, you just continue with the sitting. A lot of times, our walking and the sitting is not connected. And also, like when you are noticing things are very clear, things are sharp. That time you just take care of it, let it roll on on its own. Let it roll on its own, and just let it move on its own. Don't go and catch out it. Don't go and disturb it. Just keep on let it roll until things are not so clear. Then you start to balance things again. So don't over push it. It's not that you're going to push it, everything is going to reveal it to you. Some people, like for example, they take the pain, they take the pain. They cannot even able to notice the pain very clearly, but the behu, they are so impatient, they want to dig into the pain, see what is the pain, what inside there, what's some more inside the pain. There's nothing inside the pain. There's nothing inside the pain. When your mind is ready, it will show you more things. When your mind is not ready, no matter how you dig into it, nothing will. So don't be impatient. So the over pushing here is usually those who are impatient. Just keep a steady effort. Just like when you want to cook something, you cannot just put on a fire suddenly and then everything will burn out. You have to put it in the right fire, the right amount, and let it last for a period of time. Then only the food will come out proper. So this is on something on the imbalance of the faculty of wisdom. What else do I have? Let's talk about it on Wednesday already, this one. If you can talk about how to balance the first thing, if you do not know how to arouse, what to do? Gong lai gong ki bei hao jiu, what to do? Gong song talk for fun. The problem is that, first of all, we must know when to arouse it. First of all, to slow down and shut up. That we'll talk about it in the next talk. All right? I think it's just good enough for tonight. Okay, stop here.